Hi guys, this is Carrie. Welcome to A Crone's Life. So I'm very grateful to have time to make some videos these days. So we're gonna do the hashtag My Gratitude Decks. You know, almost every year, and it's because of Thanksgiving, almost every year November is my time for gratitude, and I do spend um, a little extra time in my journaling going over things that I'm grateful for, and I try to list the teeny tiny things so that I don't know, so that I just remember the small things really matter. But I haven't done anything so far this year, and this is perfect. This is just perfect. So, Moonflower Moments came up with the prompts, and I'm just going to jump right in. I think I've organized my decks, but we'll see. Okay. Um, Hashtag my gratitude decks. Everybody's tagged. Please feel free to do your own video response. Number one, the deck that has stood by my side through my darkest moments like a sister. And that would be the White Newman. A lot of my decks are mass market that I really have like put through the ringer, so to speak, because those are the ones I travel with. I try not to take anything too precious with me on trips, and so a lot of my mass markets get love through my travels. So, the White Newman, there is nothing in my, well, I don't think there's anything that's quite like it, but that could just be because I've used it when I was, well, going to funerals and going to see people for the last time. It's been with me. So maybe it's my perspective. I just really enjoy this deck. I don't want to spend too long on it. It is mass market. I'm sure you could find a walkthrough somewhere. Don't want this to be too terribly long of a video. So that's number one. The deck that has stood by my side through the darkest moments like a sister. The next prompt is the deck that has told me the hardest truths. And this is probably one that a lot of people will have because this is a very, what do you call it? Blunt deck. It means what it says and it says what it means. This one might be in order. Oh, it sure is. Okay. I do have backup copies, so I'm not sure which ones are which. Patrick Valenza's artwork is amazing. I am still hoping to get, is it the Triumph de la Luna? I'm not sure. One of them went mass market, and I'm kind of excited about getting it through US Games. So I remember the first time I saw his artwork, my husband fell in love with it as well as I did. I mean, it never creeped me out at all. It just seemed silly, and it seemed like he didn't speak English. I know that sounds really funny, but I would look at the images and I was like, this isn't an English speaker. This person has to be from Switzerland or something. He thinks differently than we do. Of course, I'm totally wrong, but I did feel like his brain was different than ours. So I love his artwork. Sometimes I try to draw like that. It's impossible for me. It just turns out terrible. Okay, not too many. So this is the Deviant Moon. Borderless Edition by Patrick Valenza. This one is also by US Games. You can get this one mass market. I do have the indie edition of this one as well. All right, let's see. So prompt number 3 is the deck that gave me language for my feelings. This is the Sacerdote Tarot. I might be lying about that somewhat. Really, my journaling is how I put my feelings to words, but I believe I've used this one often enough to, and there was a reason why I used this one as often as I did for my feelings, for identifying what's going on with me on a daily. This is very relatable. It's one of those where I look at it and I think, yeah, that's how I feel. So using this one when I write helps me. I can't say that it's the deck itself that put words to my feelings. That's really something that's practice. I have to journal to do that. Definitely gave me things to talk about, though. So the prompt is number 3, the deck that gave me language for my feelings. And this is the Sacerdote Tarot by Stasha Burrington. Did I say that right? Burrington. So prompt number 4, the deck that opened my eyes to what I could be. And for this prompt, I chose the Stunning Edition, or the Stunning Tarot 3rd Edition by Jonasa Yaus. I always say Johanna, I don't know why, but her name is Jonasa Yaus, and I try not to be so disrespectful, but I love her artwork. So I don't know why, I don't know why I picked this one, but definitely this is a pivotal deck for me. I read tarot differently with this one. Excuse me. I haven't had my coffee yet today. I'm feeling a little bit sluggish. This is another one that I've copied the artwork. I'm a little bit better at copying this than I am the Deviant Moon. This is more like what my style of art looks like anyway. Hers, of course, is much better than mine, but this is the direction of my art. I think I would like to make a deck one day. I don't even know what I would do with it. I've played at it. I mocked up an oracle deck that Steve has, and whenever I look at it, it makes me like embarrassed. Like, that's terrible. But it got it out of my system for a minute, that's for sure. So maybe when I make another one, it'll be prettier, more detailed, more finished looking. Okay, so that was number 4, the deck that opened my eyes to what I could be. Maybe I could be a deck creator. That's why I thought about that. So number 5 is the deck that dared me to live, and I'm going to say the Black Lily. This is Aya Rosen. Aya, I'm not sure. Again, I feel so disrespectful when I cannot. Yeah, this went to the solar eclipse with me. Oh, that's so cool. I feel disrespectful when I can't say somebody's last name correctly or first name, so I apologize. The solar eclipse, it was the Ring of Fire. No, the Ring of Fire we went to Texas, Corpus Christi. This was just a regular solar eclipse, and we went to Paducah, Kentucky, where it was beautiful. It was a great time. But this deck just, it's in your face, and it's gritty, and reminds me that things aren't perfect. I mean, it's not all artsy fartsy. Some of it is grungy, and sometimes I think, I don't know, I think it's more sexy because it's real-ish, because it's not beautiful. I don't know, does that make sense? Maybe not. But this is the Black Lily, and Dared Me to Live. I could say, yeah, I mean, it just gives you a little, it gives you, is the word inspiration? Maybe. Yeah, I really like this deck. Maybe it's not inspiration. Maybe it empowers me, and that's why I feel like it dares me to live. Definitely oomph. Okay, I'm spending too much time. This was the deck that dared me to live, prompt number 5. It is called the Black Lily Tarot, and I believe I got it on one of the Make Playing cards or drive-through cards or something like that. So, love it. Okay, this is prompt number 6. I'm halfway through. Prompt number 6, the deck that celebrated my biggest victories. Guys, you're going to be tired of seeing my same decks over and over again. Or maybe it's been so long since I've done something like this. You'll forgive me. Okay, can you guess what it is? Okay, I'm gonna have to get the guidebook to show you what it is, because the box was stupid. It's the True Heart. I don't mean it was stupid, like it's just big and a pain in the butt. The True Heart Intuitive Tarot. This is mass market. I got this one ages and ages and ages ago. I have probably, oh, you're not going to believe me, I probably have 4 of these decks, and it's such a funny story. I try to tell it every time. This deck, of course, this is a real deck. This is not a counterfeit deck, but I wanted to cut it down because my hands are, I just like for things to be comfortable in my hands. And so I feel like my hands are small. And I had a Cricut. I still have it. I just hate that stupid thing. And I wanted the Cricut to cut everything perfectly because, doggone it, I don't trust myself. So I wanted the machine to do it. And so I went through the deck, and on each one of these, I had it cut everything to, and I don't know, maybe I should get the other deck to show you. There's, on each corner, there's a flower in most of these images, and you can kind of see it in some of these. So I was on the outside of the flowers cutting, and the Cricut was doing fine. I guess I looked away for a second, and when I came back, they were all cut. No, not all of them. There was one that was cut way small. Oh, it was such a tragedy. Okay, now how to find it, because it's the culprit or victim. It could be the victim. The Cricut is the bad guy here. So one card got cut insanely small. I say this is insanely small. This is not the size that I wanted it to be. This is it. This one got cut way too small. See, I would have never cut off the butterfly wings. This one got cut way small, and so I went back and I said, I love this deck. I don't want to not use it, so I cut it all down. And I used the guillotine. I did it by hand, even though I was scared, and there's nobody holding my hand here. Dawn, Michelle, where are you? You're supposed to help. She did. She showed us how to do it. Don't worry. But I cut it all by hand, and then I edged it, and I was happy with it, and it was a good size. So I didn't worry about it. But because this deck has been with me through thick and thin, and maybe because I've, put it through the ringer again, maybe because this deck has been through so much, is also I take this one with me when I go traveling quite often. And when I travel, that's often weddings and funerals, and I went stupid because because I can make bad decisions sometimes, guys. All the victories we're talking about right here, I can make some bad decisions, but I have 3 of these decks. I love them. There's something about it. Rachel True, I've watched her do card readings, and she is lovely. I would love to meet her, hang out with her. I would love for her to be my best friend, but that's not going to happen anyway. She's cool as hell. And yeah, I wish I could tell her that I think she's cool as hell. So I should also say about the True Heart Tarot, it went with me to the Bighorn Basin. I got to do a lot of fun things there, and we went to, gosh, am I even remembering this right? The Gila cliff dwellings. See, my words aren't coming to me. I need my coffee. The Gila cliff dwellings, it went with me through all those fun, and the petroglyphs. So that was the deck that I took for that trip, and it was magnificent. I had so much fun toting that little bitty thing around. So when things happen, sometimes they really do happen for a reason. That deck is very small and taken for granted because it's, kind of torn up, but I do take it pretty much all my big trips. Prompt number 6, the deck that celebrated my biggest victories. Thank you, Rachel True. So prompt number 7 is the deck that taught me the importance of stillness. And didn't necessarily teach me the importance of stillness, but it did teach me to really sit and look at the cards. Like, this is Hidden Waters. I got this in a box from Honey Lou Wilson, and she's such a sweetheart. She just packed that box so full, and I got so many cool surprises. This was one of them. I didn't know if I was going to like this deck, but because I'm me and I make sure everything gets a good, solid chance, I spent time with it and looked at the title of the card, looked at the image, and really tried to pull out as much as I possibly could from each card that I drew. Now, that's not to say I went through the whole deck. I did not. But I did pull cards, and I did write about each one of them. And I tried to focus on things like the colors, the shapes, what do I see as, a Rorschach image. I tried to tell a story about some of these. It was really, really cool. It was a great experience, and it's something that I need to do every once in a while, is just slow down with the cards, really take time, be still, and appreciate everything that you see in the cards. I used to do path working. I haven't done that in a long time, but that's another practice that really slows me down and really makes me behave. I'm gonna use that word. I do behave a lot better when I'm slow with the cards, because I write more, I express better, like I'm doing right now. Just kidding. Yes, so being slow and deliberate with the cards, having um, a keen awareness, just being aware of all the things that you see. It's really it's wonderful. And again, this deck is just I did not. It's a super big surprise to me. I did not expect to love it, and thank goodness Honey Lou sold it to me. It was just so nice. Thank you, Sonny, for just throwing it in there and not hesitating. So the prompt was number 7, the deck that taught me the importance of stillness. Okay, the next prompt is number 8, the deck that gave me more questions than answers. I wasn't sure exactly how she meant that, because I've seen several of the VRs, several other video responses to this one, and it's been answered a couple of different ways. So I was going to go in one direction, and then I decided not to. I like people and want them to like me back. But this deck definitely fits the bill in its own kind of way. I know you're looking at it thinking, is that the Eldritch Overload? No. This is the Alleyman's, or maybe it's the Alleyway Tarot. I ask a lot more questions than really. Well, yeah. I ask a lot more questions than I get answers from this. I look at it first thing, and I think, what do I do with this? What do I do with this crazy thing? I have gone through it several times to make sure that the cards are what I want them to be. And actually, I think I have switched out the Alleyman and Alleyway cards so that I could just have a better deck. Some of the choices I wasn't excited about having, but I think that this probably is the better deck. I want this deck. Oh, I bumped you. So sorry. I want this deck. I've had a hard time finding it, and maybe it just isn't available anymore. I believe, yeah, I'm not going to try and remember the name of it. But yeah, sometimes I get cards in these alley decks, and I look at it and think, not how I would depict a particular kind of card. I love this deck. I have this one. All right. This is Marseille. So this is one that I looked at and I said, I don't know. Should I put a Marseille in my deck that's going to be mostly Rider-Waite-Smiths? It works. It's fine. But yeah, I think this fits the bill because I really have spent way too much time trying to get the deck right. Instead of reading it, I'm spending a lot of time fiddling with it and maybe asking a lot of questions and not doing very many readings. Of course, I have the Somnia. Yeah, if you guys have any suggestions with how to find some of these decks, I would be interested in knowing. I don't recognize all of them. I know this is another one of the, I believe this is another Publishing Goblin deck, and I wasn't interested in that one. But a lot of these, I have to go to the guidebook, and again, if I've swapped out cards from one to the other, I'd have a hard time finding I do have this one. Like I said, no, maybe I don't. It looks like one that I have. Anyway, I don't know. Don't pay any attention to me. I'm ridiculous. I don't need every deck either. I'm so crazy. Don't listen to me. Okay. But this deck, it definitely, and see, that just seems so out of place sometimes, these Marseille decks, or I think this is Marseille. This one could be Tarochi. But it's all basically you know what I'm saying. It's not RWS. Cute. And I have gone through the whole deck because I'm silly over this deck. Okay, this was prompt number 8, the deck that gave me more questions than answers, and I mumbled my way through that one. This is the Alleyman. I'm going to say this one's the Alleyway Tarot, because I believe the Alleyman had a ducky as the Fool card, and this has the Eldritch Overload. So this one has to be the Alleyway Tarot by Publishing Goblin. So the prompt is number 9, the deck that taught me to notice the magic in the mundane. I chose this Might Hurt tarot deck. I have Monty in my lap right now, so I'm handicapped. I'm only using one hand. Again, this is probably a stretch. I don't think that it necessarily taught me to see the magic in the mundane. I just remember using this deck in the springtime, and the springtime is when I notice all the blossoms, I notice the bees, I notice all the beauty outside. And I don't know if anybody lives in the South or has these different kinds of bushes in the South, in your area. In the South, we have these bushes that when they go to seed, they have fluff all around them. And when you look out your window, and it just looks like snow is going across when they're caught on the wind. And it's like this, it's so beautiful and magical. And it reminds me of like fairies, and I don't know. I love springtime in the South. It's pretty darn amazing. I'm not crazy about our humidity. Sometimes the weather is just too darn much for me with the heat, but we're going into winter now, and I love it. I love this feeling right now. The humidity's down. The temperatures are really down. Like, we're getting chilly, chilly, chilly. We had a freeze last night. I mean, it's 11:11 and we had a freeze. So excited. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so, but this Might Hurt is such a good deck. I don't know if I can just give it all the credit. I think I just use this deck at the times when magical things are going on outside. But that's good enough. I mean, that's credit enough, don't you think? I mean, there's some pretty mundane things in here, but each card is pretty magical, so I don't know if my focus is staying or not. I'm an old lady, and so my vision is bad, so I never know if my camera sees things better than me. But okay, yeah. So this is, I think this is Llewellyn. Is this Llewellyn? Or Liminal? Yeah, this is Liminal 11, not Llewellyn. And gorgeous deck. I had another one. I can't remember right now what its name was, but I compared them, and I just felt like this one was so much better at saying what it needed to say than the other one. They were so similar. Okay, so that is number 9, the deck that taught me to notice the magic in the mundane. And this Might Hurt Tarot deck by Isabella Protman. Great deck. Okay, so I switched up the next prompt. The original prompt is 10, the deck that encourages me to embrace levity. I've always embraced levity. I think humor is the way that I deal with a lot of my stress. So, so that's you know, yeah, that's just how that is. So, I decided that my prompt is going to be a deck that encourages me to give every deck a chance, and that would be the Navigator's Tarot of the Mystic Sea. I've told this story before too. I don't care, I'm telling it again. Julia Turk. This is the author. This deck is so weird. It's so out there. I went through a period of time where I just wanted decks I didn't see on other people's channels. I didn't want a deck that was everywhere. And at the time, I think the Light Seers Tarot was like hugely popular, and I just wanted something different. So I went on eBay and I started looking at these old decks and vintagey decks. So I bought this one first. This was my first experiment vintagey deck, and it didn't come with a guidebook. It just came by itself. I looked at the images, and please don't come after me. I didn't like them. I didn't like the images. I thought everything was so bizarre, and I had a hard time relating to what was going on in the cards. A typical tarot, I can't remember his name. I think it's William, but I'm not sure. He did a deep dive into the Five of Cups, so he had lots of decks, and he had this one, and he taught me so much about this deck. And I thought, oh, I really should just spend time with it. So I did, and I did my readings, and I realized, oh my gosh, this is like a fabulous deck. This is such a good Thoth-based deck, and I love it. I really, really do love it. And it made me realize, you have to give a deck a chance. You can't just look at something and go, oh, it's ugly. I mean, if it comes into my library, there's a reason, and I need to give something a chance. So, Navigator's Tarot of the Mystic Sea. My prompt is that this deck taught me to give every deck a chance. Do not judge it by its cover or artwork. Prompt number 11 is the deck that shifted my practice. I could say any I Ching oracle. I have way too many. I absolutely have way too many I Ching oracles. Let's see, I got a used one from a purchase that I made on Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. No, Tim and Alan's Tarot Swap on Facebook. I'm doing this wrong. So I got one that was vintage in a box from them, or from a trade I made there. I got this one from Kickstarter, I think, and I would just need to, I may just do a video showing you all my I Ching decks. I wish that I could do the sticks. That would be pretty cool, but I'm so stimulated by artwork. I have a hard time, letting it go. So, let's see, I Ching. It shifted my practice because it kind of opened my eyes. It made me really look around and realize that there are so many different kinds of divination out there, and it's not just a singular system. It's not just a singular thing. So we've got, and I'm not going to learn every single one of them, but we've got so many different systems that I wanted to learn I Ching, and I wanted to learn Lenormand. I still am working on that. I want to learn Baleen and Sybil, and there's so much out there. And when I received, not this one, but the other one, deck, I Ching deck, it just sparked this desire to learn, to dig deep and know as much as I could about divination and different forms of divination. So it shifted my practice. I'll put a link if I need to, but this is AI art. I don't think anybody really wants this. So the number 11, the deck that shifted my practice, it was an I Ching deck. So this is prompt number 12, and it is the last prompt. So again, it's a little bit of a stretch, but don't worry, I think this works. The prompt is the deck that jump-started a creative project, and I would say any of these fairy oracles, fairy decks. This one's just one that I've gotten fairly recently, and I just love it so much. I want to go through it with you. But it reminds me of like Celtic folklore, and it really feels like a fairy deck. So my fairy decks, my cats are playing. My fairy decks jump-started a tradition, a project that I make small houses every year around Halloween with my granddaughter. And this last year I used a kit, which I did not intend to fall in love with the kit so much, but oh my gosh, she just loved it. So I'll be doing a kit and building my own fairy house every year. My little building might not be a full building, but it will definitely have, you know, fairy space and fairy stuff, and I'm so excited. But all these fairy decks just reminded me of my childhood and how I used to do this when I was young. When we lived in southern Georgia, I used to build places in our yard where there were rock formations, and I would make little paths to the cave. And I would make furniture and mud food, because I'm 5 at the time. I'd gather berries, and I don't know, I just really felt like I loved fairies. I wanted the borrowers to live with me. So yeah, again, I think this is a fairy deck, and the deck that jump-started a creative project would be a fairy deck. This is the Old Ways Magic Oracle by Naomi Cormick, and I believe I do fairy decks. I do fairy houses because of fairy decks. So that was my hashtag. No, that was my video response to the hashtag my gratitude decks, and I really hope you guys do this too. It's a lot of fun, and I couldn't think of a better thing to do for the month of November. So you guys have a great week. I will talk to you later. Bye.